Hi everyone, and welcome to a video I've been waiting to make for a very long time. Exactly 8 years, 4 months and 23 days after I uploaded my first video to YouTube, I hit 100k subscribers. Finally. I've been waiting for this moment for such a long time, and that last 10,000 was such a drag. It took me well over 2 years to get from 90,000 to 100k. Not to mention that last 1,000 took 2 months basically. And I was getting burned out like a lot. But we are finally here. And I'm not even sure what to say other than a thank you, because I've been waiting for this moment for such a long time, and now that I'm actually here, I'm honestly not even sure what to say. So, thanks to all of you who made this possible. Thanks to everyone who hangs out on my Discord. Thanks to everyone who supported me on Patreon over the years. I wouldn't be able to do this without all of you guys. And a very special thanks to 3 people in particular. Now, I met a lot of great people during my time on YouTube, as in actually in person. And not everyone in person. But there are 3 people in particular who helped me a lot on this journey. So, the first one is Quill18. Like, I can't do this video without mentioning Quill. He is pretty much the #1 person who, knowingly or not, helped me a lot. And I don't mean just through the series we did together, the Data Twins, which many of you probably remember, but he was like the first bigger YouTuber I reached out to. I don't remember how small or how big I was at the time, obviously much smaller than I am right now. But he was the first bigger YouTuber I reached out to, and I remember thinking to myself, what are you even doing, you dumbass? You think he's going to bother to like even reply? But he actually did. Not only he replied, it turned out he already knew me, which at the time literally blew my mind. Because Quill was one of the people who pretty much inspired me to start my own channel. Back before I had my own channel, he had something like, I don't know, 15,000 subscribers back when I was actually watching him as, you know, one of the many viewers. And I was watching him and thought, maybe I could do this. And so I started a channel on 1st October 2011. It wasn't the only reason, it was a combination of reasons, because at that time I also quit playing World of Warcraft, or rather World of Warcrack, as many people call it, and I needed something to occupy my time, because I knew that if I don't fill that gap that I suddenly had in my free time, I would just go back to playing it again. And that led to me starting my channel. And one of the other reasons was just practicing my English, because yeah, accent aside, I always felt like English is one of my strengths, and I tend to be super critical towards myself in like pretty much every area of life. But my English is something I always felt good about, so I thought to myself, maybe I could actually do this. Actually run a channel in English, which might not seem like a big deal for a native speaker, but it is a pretty damn big deal to me, and it definitely was at the time. I gained a lot of confidence with the microphone. I improved my English a lot over the years compared to 2011. So all of those reasons led to me starting the channel on 1st October 2011. And here we are, more than 8 years later with 100k. But yeah, back to Quill. Quill in general is like such an amazing person. I don't even know how to put it in words. Like every single interaction I ever had with him was like insanely positive. And then I actually got a chance to meet him in person at the Civilization 6 event, which was also like mind-blowing to me at the time, because like he was someone I was looking up to for like that entire time period, and we suddenly got a chance to actually meet in person. So that was basically like the highlight of the decade for me, that event. Even like focusing on that event was a little bit hard, because that was like the less exciting part for me compared to actually meeting someone who inspired me to start my own channel. And like I said, like I literally never had anything other than extremely positive experiences and interactions with Quill. So he inspired me to start my channel, he gave me confidence to continue, knowingly or not. So, like, without him, I'm not sure if I would have continued. I mean, I probably would have, I don't know. I tend to be, like, super stubborn once I actually start doing something. So I might not be, like, the smartest, the funniest, or whatever person on YouTube, but I sure as heck am stubborn. Which is why I'm still here, even after, like, the last 2.5 years have been really slow for me, as you probably know. I mean, I hit 90,000 subscribers something like 2.5 years ago. That's a very long time. I'm certainly not winning any awards for speed. I might be like one of the slowest channels to reach 100k who actually reached 100k eventually. Over 8 years is a very long time to do so. Anyway, another person I would like to mention is my good old buddy Christopher Odd. I think we originally started talking after a thread on Reddit about impossible difficulty in XCOM 1, which was in something like early 2013. By the way, XCOM 1 was one of the games that gave me that initial boost back in late 2012, and I will show you that in just a moment on my like lifetime views graph, and you will see the early bump that I got from XCOM 1. XCOM 1 early on was actually a bigger deal for my channel than Civilization, and I love both those games. By the way, XCOM 3 when? Please, Jake, we need XCOM 3, come on. Give us XCOM 3, bro. Well, anyway, Christopher Odd is yet another person who, like, every single interaction I ever had with him has been super positive. And even that alone, like, helped me a lot when I was feeling down. And I had a lot of ups and downs over the years. Which is probably natural when my channel has been stagnating for such long periods of time. And Chris is someone I always had super positive interactions with. And many of our conversations that we had helped me a lot when I was feeling down. So without Chris, I don't know if I would be able to make it this far. Or at the very least, he's been a huge help for me, whether he realizes this or not. So Chris, if you are watching this, thanks, bro. And the last person, who you might find a little bit surprising, is actually Calvin. You might know who that is or not. He doesn't actually really run a channel on YouTube anymore, but we met early on through Paradox Games, and out of all the people I met on YouTube, and there are like quite a lot, a few dozen people I met through YouTube, he's the person I talk with the most. We talked a lot over the years. We talk on a daily basis, quite often, and not just about YouTube. And out of all the people I met through YouTube, he's the one person who, so to speak, gets me. And the conversations I had with him were always helpful in that sense. By the way, I'm not sure if you know, but all three people I just mentioned are Canadian. Coincidence? I don't think so. So anyway, without these three people, I don't know if I would be able to make it this far. So, while I met so many amazing people through YouTube, Quill, Chris, and Calvin are the three that have been instrumental to me being able to get this far. So big thanks. Big special thanks to all three of them. Okay, so let me show you. This is my social blade actually, and you can see just how slow it has been for me. I had a few really bad months in 2019 when I was feeling really down. As you can see, I was in the negatives in May 2019, in June, and in July. And in August, so that's 4 months in a row. And then I had 516 in September. And I was still running the XCOM campaign in May and June, which I felt was really good. Out of all the XCOM 2 campaigns I've done, I would say the one I've done in 2019 was one of the best. It had some really amazing missions. That's how I felt about it. There were quite a few episodes, I would say, were some of my best XCOM videos I've ever done. And yet, this is how it was. So I was feeling really down in this time period. But we made it eventually. And the last 1000 was such a drag. I had 400 in December and then 700 in January. So just the last 1000 alone took 2 months, basically. That was a little bit frustrating. And let me show you my lifetime views graph. So this is where I uploaded, or rather published, my first video. It starts from September 30th, because that was when I actually uploaded the video, but I published it on October the 1st. It was actually 2 videos. They are not on the channel anymore, and I wonder how many of you actually know what the first 2 games were. Let me know in the comments if you actually know that. One of them you probably know, the other one maybe not so much. So yeah, I got 9 views on October the 1st. And this right here was actually XCOM, October 2012. This was the first bigger game for me. I had something like 1,000, 1,500 subscribers at that point, and I doubled my subscriber count thanks to XCOM 1 release within like 1 month time period. I went from something like 1,500 to 3,000 in 1 month. And as you can see, it raised my like baseline views level. So XCOM 1 was actually pretty big for me, right here. And then obviously, my channel really took off around 2014, went up here. And you can see just how long the period of stagnation has been. So you can see why I've been feeling down for quite a long time period. But we are here at 100k. And there are actually a few things I have planned as far as content on the channel goes. I just didn't really want to do them before hitting 100k, especially when I was this close. Mostly because I didn't want to piss off the YouTube algorithm, and that can definitely happen these days. That's actually one of the more frustrating parts of running the channel. Like, I know exactly how the YouTube algorithm works, because it's not really like a big secret these days. But in order to do really well, I would have to turn my channel into something I don't necessarily want to turn it into. So like, that's the thing. I know what I would have to do, or what I could do to do much better. It's just not necessarily something I want to do, if that makes sense. And one of the issues is a metric called CTR, which is click-through rate. I think I mentioned it in my New Year update video with Euro Truck Simulator 2. You might have seen that. So I don't really want to repeat myself, and I don't want to go like too deep into YouTube algorithm stuff, because I can go on like a half-hour rant about that. But generally speaking, the most crucial period of any video being published is the first 24 hours, first 48 hours, and then first 7 days. And YouTube will gradually expand the group of people it will show your video to. It's basically testing your video against a progressively bigger group of people. And initially, that group consists mostly of your existing viewers, your existing subscribers, and not necessarily just subscribers, people who already know you, and people who already watch you. And then, if it does well initially with that group, it expands the reach of the video. If it still does well, it expands it further, and further and further, and after it happens a few times, it maybe deems your video like worthy of showing to people who do not know you at all. And one of the most important time periods is, like I mentioned, first 24 hours, first 48 hours, and first 7 days. After 7 days, any video you publish loses like a new video status. Because while it is a new video, it gets a boost to discoverability on YouTube. But early on, YouTube only really shows it to your existing viewers. At least, primarily your existing viewers. Unless it gains a lot of velocity in the first few hours, in the first 48 hours, in the first 24 hours. So, not only you need to gain views, CTR and retention, you need to gain a lot of it within a specific time period. As quickly as possible, basically. It's not just views that matter, but rather views velocity, so to speak. So in the first 24 hours, for example. So all these things combined mean that if your existing viewers aren't like interested enough in some topic you are making a video about, a game, whatever, anything, if they are not really interested enough, which isn't only about the views by the way, but if they are not interested enough, then YouTube will decide, well, okay, if the people who are basically like the most loyal viewers of this particular channel already aren't interested in this, then nobody else will be. Like, let's not even bother like showing it further, because it makes no sense to show it further. Like, at least that's sort of the YouTube logic, so to speak. And it prevents that content from gaining further velocity. And then, well, you're stagnating. So it is a bit of a problem in the context of my channel, because I've never been strictly a Civ channel. I do not want to be strictly a Civ channel, as much as I love Civ, don't get me wrong. I enjoy playing all kinds of strategy games. But when your viewers are like fragmented, so to speak, that doesn't work too well with how the YouTube algorithm functions these days, unless you reach a certain size. Because past certain size, you can sort of brute force the YouTube algorithm. So even if like a significant percentage of your viewers isn't really super interested in some particular topic, your channel is big enough so that you can like brute force through the initial requirement for the YouTube algorithm to promote your video further, if that makes sense. But like I said, I don't really want to talk about this too much. I don't want to turn this video into like a YouTube algorithm rant. Let's not talk about that at all. So this video is about celebrating 100k. Because like I said, I've been looking forward to this moment for such a long time. Back early on, when I was still pretty small, like this was like the one big long-term goal that I set for myself. And I thought, if I ever reach 100k, it means I made it. If I ever get to that point. And that's what I was thinking like 6-7 years ago. And we are actually here in February 2020. So thanks to all of you guys. All of you made this happen. And also all of you on Discord. I spent quite a lot of time on Discord, as those of you who are there probably know. And honestly, I said this a few times before, but Discord, at least for me personally, has been one of the best things that happened to YouTube, so to speak. Because, like, you can actually talk with people in real time there, which is not something you can do in YouTube comments. Like, you can't do that in YouTube comments. So Discord has been amazing. I got quite a few really great ideas from Discord. I had a lot of great conversations on Discord, not just about gaming, not just about YouTube, about all kinds of things. So Discord has been genuinely great to my like general mindset and to keeping me sane through like the bad times. So all of you who hang out on Discord, thanks. And every single one of you watching this video, and you, yes, you, thanks for being with me, thanks for making it this far, whether you subscribed recently, or maybe you've been with me for years. Thanks. The fact you enjoy what I do is the reason I'm here. That is literally the reason I'm here. And I will be here as long as YouTube is a thing. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I can tell you this right here, right now. I'm here. Unless YouTube, like, stops being a thing. If YouTube crashes and burns, then obviously that will prevent me from continuing this on YouTube, but I would probably continue it elsewhere. I enjoy doing this. Despite all the frustrations I have with YouTube, I enjoy doing this still, even after 8 years and over 6,000 videos. So again, thanks to all of you, and here's to another 8 years. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.